I got two strappers in a traffic cone.
Hello there, and welcome to the If It Swims podcast, the multi-species angling podcast. For 1313 Media, I'm Bret Bolton. Joining me for episode 11 are Justin Wingert.
Hey man, how's it going?
And Dave Spear.
Hola, amigos.
Hola.
Perfect. Thanks for joining, guys. This month, we're going to talk about some recent fishing trips, read some fishing news, and then we're going to have the fish of the month. But since this is an angling podcast, let's start with some angling. I'll go first this month because I know there's a cooler trip following. So once again, I went out to a local lake to try and find some carp and catfish, with the main idea being catching some carp for the first fish tasting event of the podcast happening next month.
That's
I know
exciting.
you're all excited, and you're not really excited, but you're pretending to be excited.
No, I'm actually excited.
That's kind of cool. So I caught several decent channel catfish, around 3 pounds each, and a single common carp at about 5 pounds.
Oh,
It's a good
that's
eating
big
size.
enough.
It's perfect, yeah. So I arrived out there immediately as a cold front started moving through, and I caught fish at ease while it was cloudy and lightly raining.
Nice.
I had a howling wind out of the west, but I had a nice little cove, and there was a eddy. The wind was causing an eddy right around this point, and the fish were stacked in there pretty good. It was awesome. As soon as the cold front passed through, the sun came out, the rain stopped, and the bite stopped even harder.
Oh, wow.
It was gone. It was nothing.
Fish remembered they had to go back on a diet.
Yeah. I was home in time for lunch and in time to clean those catfish for fish tacos that night.
Excellent.
And I cleaned that carp and pressure canned it. But more about that next month. Felt pretty good for me to have a plan, look at the water, see that eddy the wind was causing, and know where the catfish and, of course, the carp are going to be stacked up. It was nice.
Almost like a real angler.
Almost like I knew what I was doing.
Almost, but
See.
not quite.
Oh, man. And by the
And
way,
it's trips like that we think of, the whole time we're being bad fake anglers.
it's true.
I swear I caught fish once. I thought I knew how to do
Yes.
this.
I think the trick is sometimes the conditions are so perfect that it doesn't matter how bad you are, it's going to happen.
That's probably true.
I agree.
So, Justin, have you been out?
As a matter of fact, I have.
You
In fact,
have?
I went fishing with you.
Oh, okay, that one.
Oh, hey. I didn't know the two of you yahoos got together.
We
Well,
did.
it was not awesome.
we did not do so good. There's a reason Bret had to go out again. So I joined Bret a couple weeks ago at one of our local lakes. In fact, the same lake that he had success at, but the other side of it, trying to help him get some catfish and some carp. And I went out there, and he got there first, and he caught a decent-sized keeper channel cat pretty much right off the bat. I showed up a little while later thinking, all right, we're going to get some fish today. And then we proceeded to fish for like 4 hours with nothing. It was so slow that Bret broke out the poles,
Oh, I did.
as in actual pole, 10-foot, no reel, old school pole. And we went chasing some panfish, and we proceeded to catch a whole bunch of like little 3 to 4 inch long ear sunfish. And that was a lot of fun. And then I started catching like 6-inch largemouth bass on cut shad, which I had out there for catfish. Did not see a single catfish of my own until I was literally reeling in to leave, and then I had like a 12-inch channel that had probably been on there for the last hour. So I caught like 18 fish, but most of them were about 4 inches long, and I caught like 5-6-inch largemouth on cut shad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a weird day out there. It was a nice spot.
It was a beautiful day for fishing,
Oh, it was great. What was
weather-wise.
it, 63 degrees?
Yeah, 60s, low 60s,
Perfect.
cloudy, little breezy. Really, really nice. The fish we expected to show up just never showed up.
Nope.
So
But it
I
was
have
cool.
to admit, I have just a slight bit of jealousy about the cane pole fishing part.
It's
because
fun.
That sounds like fun.
Really?
It was, yeah. I caught like 3 or 4 species doing it too. Bluegill, green sunfish, long-eared sunfish, and I even caught a little largemouth bass doing it.
Yeah, Dave, up here, you've been there a few times, that I fish a local tail race a good bit.
Yeah.
Justin and I are trying to get up there one day, taking nothing but poles.
Oh, nice. That'd be fun.
And we'll catch a bunch of species, but we'll probably break something.
Yeah.
Hook a 20-pound buffalo on a cane pole.
Or I was thinking more like a 8-pound hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble.
Hybrids. There should be hybrids and white bass in there again right now.
With all that rain,
yeah. Well, they dumped out like 4,000 plus for like 2 months straight.
Mm.
You know, I got sucked into that high tech cane pole fishing, like not in any kind of obsession way, but I bought a Tenkara fly rod and did that.
Okay.
Here a couple of years ago.
How was that?
And it's been fun. And it's, I've mostly been just pan fishing with it. But I saw, I don't know, somewhere out on the internet, social media somewhere probably, I saw a woman land a redfish with one of those the other day. And that looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, that's wild.
I don't think I saw the video, but I'm pretty sure I didn't watch the video, but I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Yeah.
Because it sounds extremely familiar.
Yeah.
Have you done any trout on it yet?
No.
I've
really only used it for panfish. And in fact, the first time I heard about Tenkara, so this actually happened years ago, on a carp fishing lake up by y'all in North Texas, I wanted to know what it felt like to have a carp attached to the tip of a rod, and I didn't have a Tenkara rod. So I literally tied mono to the tip of a fly rod, and I did, quote unquote Tenkara one carp with that. And then since I bought a real Tenkara rod, I've actually not gone back out to do it.
Gotcha.
I should one of these days.
I jumped on that Tenkara, I won't call it a bandwagon, that Tenkara weird backyard cart.
Yeah.
And I have done, I think, 4 carp up there at that local lake.
Nice.
You have to run after them sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mostly panfish. I've caught one rainbow on it. Mostly just local panfish, and those 4 carp up there.
Yeah.
I really want to put a little bit, tiny bit larger fly and go chase some little largemouth on it.
Oh yeah,
I think it'd be kind of fun.
It's fun. I've caught some small bass on it. I will say that the shine wore off after I caught a few fish. It feels different. It feels different having them just pulling directly on the tip of that very spindly end of a rod. It's much lighter than even a 1-weight fly rod. It's very light. But the reality is I didn't find it any easier or any more simplistic than regular fly fishing. In fact, I found it to be a little more of a pain in the butt.
I agree. It packs a little smaller.
It packs smaller, but that's it. But,
that's it.
On foot with a fly rod, I'll walk around a pond, and not being able to reel up your line and just walk around is just actually kind of a pain.
No, I agree. I've taken mine on a 3-day backpacking trip when I really did not have the space for even a 2-weight fly rod.
Yeah.
Or the space. There was the reel was a bigger problem. I didn't have to wait for the reel.
Yeah, the weight of the reel, yeah.
But it was a fun thing to do, and I caught some sunfish on it, but it wasn't, I don't know. Maybe there's a place where they're amazing and it's all the best thing in the world, but it's really just more of a tinkering toy. And
what if they were all like 12-inch sunfish?
That'd be kind of awesome.
That'd be that'd be fun.
That would be,
but
that'd
honestly,
be cool.
If I was going to mess with small fish like that, I'd rather just use a pole and a piece of corn or a piece of bait and just catch a billion sunfish that way.
Yeah.
Or that one pond we know of where there's a billion 1-pound carp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I on my pole, I did once catch about a 2-pound gizzard shad. Does that count?
Oh, wow.
That was a weird fight.
Yeah, I bet.
Was I there? I feel like I was there. Or was
I
that
think
a
you were
different
there.
2-pound
You were
gizzard
there
shad?
for a different gizzard shad.
Okay, I remember you catching a giant
else.
gizzard shad like that.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I don't know. Well, when you start using tiny pieces of bait on tiny hooks, weird stuff happens.
I guess that makes sense.
So we're gonna have to get you get some sort of gizzard shad king crown or something. You know,
King gizzard shad.
Please no.
King
Please
gizzard
no.
shad.
I'm
The
sorry.
last thing I'll say about the Tenkara rod,
Yeah.
I found one massive advantage to it.
Yeah, what's that?
One, and that is fishing out of a small watercraft, kayak, canoe, or whatever, because it is so much easier to get your hook out of a tree when you can telescope the rod down to only be like 12 inches. So you just get closer and closer,
that actually makes sense.
you just collapse the rod and you go right up to it and unhook it, and then you back off and you stretch the rod back out.
Never thought of that.
It's quite the benefit. That would be great for me.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Oh, man. Did you go fishing, Dave?
I did. I went fishing exactly once this month, and I paid to play, man. And I'm glad I paid to play.
Nice.
It was one of those deals where, it was about I dropped a Benjamin on every fish, but I enjoyed it. I hired a guide, and I've sort of known this guy, we've hung out and had a couple of drinks, but don't really know him. Guy by the name of Billy Trimble fishes Trimble fly fishing out of Aransas Pass, Texas. I went down there. I was just itching to get some sight fishing. And the weather looked great. So I called him up. I'm like, you got something on Friday? He said, no. So I did a whirlwind. I worked Thursday. I drove down there, stayed a night in a motel, woke up Friday morning, went fishing, drove home when I was done. Ooh. But we caught about 10 fish, and it was it was exactly what I like about sight fish. It was very classic. We're on a poling boat, spotted, you're seeing all the fish that you catch. And I did it. I made every mistake on that trip I think I've ever made, all combined to 8 hours.
Really?
You hooked yourself in your own ear?
I did not hook myself, but in all my time fishing, I've never done this before, but I managed to get a little excited at one particular eat, and I set the hook so hard I broke off, and I've done that before. Mm-hmm. But when I broke, my fly broke, and the leader smacked me in the forehead from about 50 feet away. Just sprung back like a spring. Didn't hurt. And, I'm wearing sunglasses and stuff. And we laughed about it. And I turned around, and he's on the pulling platform. And I said, Billy, I have hit myself in the face with a bluegill before. I have done all kinds of crazy stuff, but I've never actually had a snapback hit me in the face.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that, depending on who you're with, it takes a while to live down, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if I did that while Justin was with me.
Yep. That would be a recurring joke for at least the next 12 months.
Exactly.
Let's see. What else happened on my trip? So I broke the fish off, smacked myself in the face. I definitely long distance released a few fish, and I managed to drop my phone in the bay, in a real soft silt area. Like, I had to feel around to find it. Ugh. And through some miracle, it's still working. And it was underwater for about 7 or 8 minutes. And I was not worried about the water so much with these modern phones as I was worried about the mineral content.
The salt.
Screwing up the charge port.
The salt on the ports.
Yeah. But the funniest, I don't know is the funniest, but the most epic memory catch for me is we had stopped for lunch, and I think this is when I dropped my phone, actually, and I'm wearing sun gloves, right? And I do that. I wear sun gloves and just try to keep everything out of the sun.
Smart.
I took these sun gloves off when I'm reaching around for my phone in the water, just so they won't be soaked for the rest of the day. And I go to start putting them on, and the guide's ready. He's finished his lunch. I finished my lunch, and he's ready to go. And I was like, let's just go. I'll mess with these gloves later. And so he starts to pull me back into this little lake, right? I mean, we're in 3 inches of water. He starts to pull me back in there. And I think, before we get back in there, I should probably be ready. I don't want to be messing with these gloves later. So I decide that is a perfect time to get these gloves that are inside out of my pocket and put them on my hands. So I put the first one on. I'm putting the second one on. And I look up, and I've got it like 90% untangled. My right hand is completely incapacitated, and there's a redfish
Right there.
15 feet in front of the boat. And the water clarity was a little off that day. And, I saw all the fish that I casted at, but a lot of it was just glimpses. This was like you're looking at water and the redfish was painted on top of the water. I mean, it was just right there. It was obvious. And I flicked the glove on my hand and I flipped a fly over. Like it was kind of like an overhand, just kind of flipped it over. And the fish ate and I caught it. And
Nice.
we laughed about it for the rest of the day. He's like, I saw you messing with that glove, and I thought he's never going to get this fish.
That's
You're
good.
like, I'll show you. Watch this.
I was amazed because I'd already botched. I think I landed like 10 fish or something. But when you land something like 10 fish sight fishing, you've taken more than 10 shots. I mean, you've taken a few dozen shots at least.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, though. It's a good trip. And I know that gets your mind back where it belongs.
That's right.
The next day at work was way better than the Monday before, wasn't it?
Yep.
No, I got you. So we don't do a competition for best trip, but if we did, well, it was yours, Dave.
I don't know, man. I really like cane pole and bluegills. So.
Well, yeah. But
so do I, but I'd rather
that.
be catching redfish.
Exactly.
I probably did win the adrenaline contest.
That's kind of why we do this, or at least some of the time it is. That's cool. And we'll see what we have for December. I bet we've got something cool.
There is
that's
a
it.
possibility.
I turned in my fishing for the year.
All right, you're done?
I'm done.
All right, cool. That's good. I'm glad you guys made it out because it's what we do. It's why we're here. So news?
Wait, we're supposed to have news?
Yeah.
What, you have anything, Justin?
I might have something.
What do you got? You're first.
Okay. So as I had mentioned to you guys pre-recording, I picked a news story partly because it has a picture in it, which I will attach later so we can put it in the notes. That made me laugh so much. I'll send you guys the picture after I tell this story. The story itself, it reminds me of a story that Bret had recently. And the title of this one is, After Poachers Busted for Hiding Striped Bass in Odd Locations, New York Changes Fishing Regulations.
Okay.
This is from...
I got to see this picture.
Okay. It's a great one. This is from CBS News. We have, after a series of busts, poachers fishing for out-of-season striped bass in New York, the state's Department of Environmental Conservation has changed fishing regulations for the species. Environmental conservation police officers and investigators are part of the agency's Division of Law Enforcement. Striped bass are considered an ecologically, recreationally, and economically important species, according to the department's website. This story is from earlier in the year, but I'm going to bring this. Between April 6th and 10th, multiple officers from the department witnessed people on Long Island catching and keeping the fish, even though the season for striped bass does not begin until the 15th. In one find, a canine officer helped police find over a dozen fish buried in the sand and behind logs and brush piles. This is the part here. In another bust, 3 men were found to be hiding striped bass inside traffic cones on the Bayville Bridge. And there's a picture of some traffic cones that have been tipped over, and there's just these huge ass striped bass with their tails sticking out.
Oh man.
17 people were ticketed for taking striped bass out of season. 6 people were also ticketed for failing to carry licenses. And then the rest of the article goes on after new regulations talking about, the regulations that they changed for that, which honestly, it's not as interesting as these pictures of the striped bass in traffic cones.
Oh, man.
So, the regulations that affect Long Island have not changed. Striped bass found in marine waters can only be kept if they are between 28 and 31 inches long. Size limit exists to protect female fish, ensures species can maintain a population.
Sure.
Those seeking to catch striped bass must now be signed up for Marine Recreational Fishing Registry, and only 1 fish can be caught per day. And that's one of the things they changed for a specific part of the river where they were keeping. Well, for example, now they're supposed to keep 1, and this guy had illegally kept 17. And there's a big picture of a very proud-looking dog shepherding 17 striped bass on the pavement too. So yeah, the picture cracked me up, and I think you guys will too. I will send it to the group chat. But it's
Oh,
there's
yeah.
it's like the middle of the city. It looks like, and they're just fishing a bridge in the middle of the city and hiding striped bass in traffic cones.
From now on, I'm gonna go get a traffic cone somehow legally and use it as a net, or like take it out, to a fishing pier and just start stuffing fish in it.
I think every fishing trip I go on from now on should just have a cone just hanging out somewhere near me at all times.
Yeah,
that is great.
and easier to drag around than an ATM, which
Right.
I might have to explain that if
Nope.
if you're a listener.
Everybody gets it.
I'll also
And you
I'll
didn't
also
hear the
copy, I'll also copy the picture and put the picture right into the chat too, so you guys can take a look at it right now without having to read the whole article.
Awesome.
Perfect. So I'll get this one going. From the U.S. Department of Interior.
Oh, important.
Government.
Big news for Arizona's favorite fish, the Apache trout, which has been holding on to its endangered badge since the 60s, is officially swimming off the endangered species list. U.S. Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland announced this major news on Wednesday, calling it a conservation comeback decades in the making. After more than 50 years of teamwork, we're talking federal, state, tribal, and even non-governmental work, the Apache trout is living proof that when people work together, amazing things can happen. The Apache trout story has it all: drama, resilience, and plenty of obstacles. It was listed as endangered back in 1967, when you could count its population on one fin, it says, which, all right, puns are fine. But thanks to years of effort.
Very clever article author, very clever.
By 75, it got promoted to threatened, like a trout climbing the ladder. The Apache trout is one of Arizona's 2 native species. Its struggles began, any guesses?
When the white man showed up?
No, not quite that bad.
I feel like a dam was put in somewhere.
Yeah. That too. However, it says when the water got a bit too crowded with rainbow, brook,
when they started stocking everything else.
Were introduced in the 1900s. By the 60s, the Apache trout was found only in a few streams on the White Mountain Apache Reservation. A rep from Arizona Fish and Game Commission explained this plan, saying it's all about growing healthy, self-sustaining fish with great genetics. Basically, the Apache trout is living its best life now, thanks to $5.1 million wildlife dollar investment under President Joe Biden. And there's some concern whether or not they'll get back to it or not. And they say there's a chance without continued work to get back where they started from and be endangered again. But for now, the Apache trout is swimming again in victory. And fish coming back. It's a good thing to see.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a good news story.
I know.
It's a feel-good story.
It's not funny.
Well,
It's not funny, but it makes you happy.
And then we had good.
I've never seen an Apache trout. Have you?
No.
I don't think so.
I think I need to go catch one.
I think
and
so.
release one.
Well, you'll have a very specific set of places to go.
Yeah, it's a pretty small place.
You know where you're headed.
That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, it's nice to see a fish coming back. We have one more, don't we?
Yep.
Dave, what you got?
We got another story, another news story. It's
I sent
across the pond.
I sent that picture for you guys to check
Oh,
out.
yeah. There may have to be a slight pause here while we all laugh to ourselves
It's an
or to each
incredible
other.
Photo.
I got to pull it up.
It's amazing.
No
isn't
way.
it?
that is literally fish stuffed in a cone.
And it's yeah, we'll have to put this in the show notes, but it's traffic cones tipped over a runoff grate, over a rain grate.
Or is it a
Sewer
rain grate? It looks more like a venting grate in a downtown area, so the fans
Could be.
can blow out.
Could be.
So instead of Marilyn Monroe on top, it's just 2 stripers stuffed in a cone. Oh, that's awesome.
I carry my fish around in the traffic cone.
Well, that was indeed. We did need a pause to look at a picture of striper stuffed in a cone.
We're gonna have to have the guest. We're gonna have to have a guest singer come in and sing. I got two stripers in a traffic cone to the tune of 2 Tickets to Paradise.
Oh,
I was thinking the Beck
2
song.
turntables and a microphone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, or that would work too.
Strappers in a traffic cone.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
Somebody get on that.
I know what our zinger's going to be this month.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right.
All right.
So I got news from across the pond, and I'm going to excuse my geographical ignorance here.
Nice.
It's from Devon. And I don't know if that's Ireland, Scotland, UK.
I know that is
where it
the UK, I believe. That's around actually where one of my family friends in England lives.
There you
All
go.
right. Well, I'm going to do my best not to read this the way it's written, but you'll
I used to
understand.
do that, and then I got tired of it, and I just started reading the article.
Yeah. So we have an overturned food waste lorry, that'd be a truck,
Correct.
has spilled tonnes of fish guts across a main road in Devon.
Did you say tonnes?
Tonnes. That's how it's spelled. With locals reporting a stinky situation.
Oh.
That sounds horrible.
The collision occurred on the Bolham roundabout at Tiverton at around 4 a.m. on Tuesday, October 22nd. The vehicle was en route carrying food waste when it tipped over, causing it to dump its load and wafting strong odors across the area.
Oh, no.
A local told Devon Live, "This overturned in Tiverton, and whatever it is, absolutely stinks. It's causing queues on A361 and all up Leah Road." According to the BBC, the vehicle was carrying 28 tonnes, and that is that's about 56,000 Budweisers per Freedom Eagle over here in America. 56,000 Budweisers per Freedom Eagle of fish guts, which have been spilled across the road. Emergency services rushed to the scene, where the lorry driver was found. Yeah. The driver was found to have suffered minor injuries, but no other vehicles are believed to be involved in the crash. A spokesperson for Devon and Cornwall police informed that the police were called to reports of an overturned lorry that had shed its load of food waste on the A361 at Bolham Roundabout at around 4 a.m. today. Emergency services attended the scene, and the driver has been taken to the hospital with only minor injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good at least.
Authorities have warned motorists about significant delays, stating local road closures have been put in place and are likely to remain so for some time while efforts are ongoing to clear up the spillage. Drivers are advised to avoid the area. A spokesperson for the Devon and Somerset Fire and Rescue Service said, "We got called to Bolham Roundabout after about 4 this morning and sent 3 appliances." And I don't know what that translates to. I think it said fire and rescue, so I'm assuming 3 fire trucks or a fire truck and some EMS.
Yeah, something's.
3 pieces of equipment.
3 pieces of equipment, that's right. And, the rest of the story just repeats everything in the beginning of the story. But, 28 tons of fish guts.
That's a lot of
sounds
fish, man.
Horrifying. I would think when they advised motorists to stay away, they probably advised everyone to stay away.
Yeah.
And to keep your windows and doors shut.
Some poor guy's got to clean that up.
Right?
Oh, look, you just need a bunch of seagulls and about 60 million ants per square foot, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It is a seagull's dream, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, we had a significantly less significant incident a number of years ago involving something similar. My wife and I were on a trip, and we were coming back from the coast. We got in a pretty bad accident. Nobody was hurt, but we got in a pretty bad accident. And because we were coming back from the coast, I had about 4 pounds of boiled shrimp in a cooler. And I was in a truck, and we were rear-ended so hard that the tailgate only missed the cab as it folded up like a taco by about 12 inches. I mean, it was that bad. But the shrimp got all through the wreckage, and I got a call from and this was, we weren't home yet. We were still 4 hours away from home. So we had to leave the truck, rent a car and stuff. When I finally got a call from the insurance adjuster a few weeks later, when they went to visit the truck, It had been put in a barn on the side of a road in a small town, and the adjuster told me he could smell it from 2 blocks away.
Oh, no.
And that was just a couple of pounds of shrimp.
That is horrible, though. So if it wasn't totaled beforehand, they would have totaled it just because it smelled.
Yeah. Nah.
That's a mess.
It would have been awful if it was just a minor fender bender with shrimp all up in the frame.
Gonna start calling it the Shrimp Mobile.
Oh, man. I do like that you said it folded like a taco, and my first thought was shrimp tacos.
Yeah. I think they were all cooked too. I think we bought them already boiled.
Okay.
I don't remember.
That doesn't help
honestly.
the smell any. Just saying.
Either way. Yeah.
Especially not after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, and this was September in Texas.
Hot Texas barn.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
If they weren't cooked before, they are now.
Yep.
Oh man, that's horrifying. Do you want to rate the stories? I mean, it's a clear winner this month.
I think I know who won.
Yeah, we know who won. We tend to judge these by how much we laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep. Congrats, Justin.
So we need to make a shirt that says Gizzard King for Bret and a shirt that says Striper Cones for
Striper
two
cones.
stripers and a traffic cone for Justin.
I got two stripers and a traffic cone.
Oh, that is fairly awesome, actually. Oh man,
Can be a podcast shirt.
Yep.
We need to start making more shirts. We've got some Infant Swim shirts.
They don't have to be generic anymore.
No information
Now we got
whatsoever
ideas.
on them. So now we just throw random phrases on these shirts.
Yes.
Sure.
Random phrases, and then if it swims logo and smaller under it.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like,
So,
what does that shirt mean? No, let me tell
We
you about it.
we have only 2 more fish of the months before we overhaul it. We're not sure what's happening next year, but for now, you guys ready for this one?
No.
Justin's ready.
He'll guess it before I even get going.
Is it the hammerhead shark?
It is not. Which one?
Oh,
I don't. See, I don't know. I gotta wait for the clues.
Oh, you need clues. This clue is going to tell you if it's a scalloped or a great.
it's clearly the speckled polka dotted hammerhead shark.
Wait a minute.
Is it the striped bass in a traffic cone?
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get this thing going. Our fish of the month this month has a native range from the lower Great Lakes and Mississippi River basins, from Pennsylvania to Louisiana, and the Gulf Slope from Alabama to Mexico. It has also been introduced into Arizona, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, and others, and is considered an invasive species in many of these waters.
It's largemouth bass.
This fish, I'm pretty sure the largemouth bass is native to Florida. I'm not real smart, but I think I got that one. This fish is the only member of its genus and one of 51 extant species in its family. The IGFA lists the world record at 123 pounds, 0 ounces from Kansas in 1998.
All right, now I have a pretty decent idea.
Decent idea. What do you got? I'm not going to tell you if you're right or not.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm thinking of the blue catfish. Or possibly the flathead. I don't remember which one gets big off the top of my head. Yeah.
Possibly the flathead. Nice. You want to hear some nicknames?
I would like to hear some nicknames.
All right. Budfish.
The budfish?
Okay.
Well, now I don't know.
Tabby. Gojon.
I
didn't
I
think
can't
that
do
would
it.
do it.
I can't do it, but I've heard that nickname and I should know it.
I didn't
I can't put it
Give
together.
it away. Appalachian doesn't mean much at all.
Yeah.
Spade head.
Yeah.
Oh, that did it, huh?
I think so.
Yeah. And then mutter.
Say that refines my guesses.
Mutter does?
No, the spadehead.
Spadehead.
Shovelhead. Johnny cat.
Okay.
I like pied cat.
It's a good one.
Mississippi cat,
Mm-hmm.
mud cat, op.
Yeah, I think I would have got it there too.
You would have there for sure.
Wait, did you say op?
OP, you bet.
Oh, that's odd.
Well, you will. You'll make perfect sense in a second because op is short for what my grandfather called these fish.
Oh.
The Appaloosa.
Oh.
And then yellow, yellow belly, and yellow cat.
It is the yellow bullhead.
It's not the 123-pound yellow bullhead.
That's right.
God, you know, ugly.
Well, I had two guesses and one of them was right.
Yeah, you know, how ugly bullhead get after about a pound and a half.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Oh man! So I'm going to try it. Paladictus olivaris, the flathead catfish. So we all know how this works. Dave and Justin do not know what this fish was before we got here. So any info they have is off the cuff. That said, what could you guys tell me about them? And what have you caught?
Well, this is going to be easy for me, Justin. I'm going to embarrassingly admit I don't believe that I have ever caught a flathead catfish.
Oh, no?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I can't recall it. I'm pretty sure I have not.
Well, knowing how you fish, if you had caught one, you would remember it.
Yeah.
Because it would have been on a fly or on a crankbait or something else, right?
There's a very, very small chance that I caught one back in 2007 when we did a species contest, and I fished lots of different methods, but I don't think I did. I don't think I've ever caught one. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen one.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Outside of a fish tank, like at a Bass Pro or
How's
something.
this? As I recall, during that species contest, there were 4 flathead catfish turned in. It was just you would think more, but the people that were involved in that contest were not necessarily diehard catfishing people.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
it was a struggle.
Flatheads are most often caught by people who are specifically targeting them or specifically targeting catfish.
Yeah.
Occasionally, occasionally bass anglers might catch one on a crankbait or whatever. I have caught them, but I've only ever caught a few of them, and they've all been pretty small. Usually just on like live minnows on the bottom somewhere, or even like
makes sense.
A whole dead shad or whatever the case may be. They're pretty predatorial by catfish standards. They're often ambush predators, like to hide in little underwater caves and under trees and stuff and grab anything that moves in front of them, basically. They're excellent to eat. They're aggressive. They're great fighters. As the record indicates, they get very big. They're popular game fish. Again, a lot of people that catch them target them specifically. So if you're not targeting them, you may not have ever caught one, kind of like Dave.
Right.
I know that I haven't eaten them myself because I haven't caught any ones that are good size to eat, but they are supposed to be delicious. A lot of people swear by them, even at large sizes. I know they are in some states. It's popular to catch them with your hands, which sounds
this is true.
So I was going to ask about that.
Pretty wild, and a good way to get a broken finger or lose a finger to a snapping turtle. But if that's what you enjoy and you're having fun, go for it.
Yeah, snapping turtles are the least of my concerns doing that. I'm afraid I would reach my hand down there and 85-pound flathead would say, I'm going to bite whatever that is, and I'm going that way.
Yeah. That would be a problem.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
85 pounds is a lot of muscle.
It is. And in its environment.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to ask if it was the noodle, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, I'm pretty sure the noodlers mostly catch flathead, but I wasn't sure if it was mostly flathead or mostly blues.
No,
generally
because
flatheads,
of location. Because
Gotcha.
Under, imagine a boat ramp and it's washed out underneath it.
Yeah.
They're packed in there, or they're in some states it's now illegal. Where it is legal to noodle, it's illegal to plant your own barrels and stuff in the water to attract them into it. So their habitat is pretty well predictable.
They basically live in underwater closets.
Yes. They are the closet fish.
They're like cats, the old saying, if it fits, they sits, except the flatheads are like, if it fits, I lurk here and eat shad.
Now, Brett, you've got to have caught a bigger one, right?
I've caught one about 10 pounds, which is
Okay.
a nice fish, but not a big flathead.
Right.
Sure.
Not big by
And I
flathead
caught
standards.
it on a soft plastic jerkbait.
That sounds right.
I was just bass fishing, and the flathead said, well, there's something, I'm eating it. And I did, I will say, hook one at about 25 to 30 pounds once.
Yeah.
On a 2-weight fly rod.
Nice.
I was in the flats. I mean, why I was messing with carp with a 2-weight. Well, we know why, because it was fun.
Yeah.
And while I was up there, this thing was 4 foot long, just running around in 2 foot of water. And you have to cast to it, don't you?
It's the law. It must be done.
He ate it. I strip set on him, and he went, I guess he went east. And he didn't do anything but just go east.
Yeah.
And at the end, I pointed the rod directly at him. So nothing else broke.
Yeah.
And
He said, all right, well.
luckily, the leader snapped.
Yeah.
Because I did this once also on a jetty, and the backing snapped.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess
There's a way to lose $100.
Yeah, exactly the answer. I guess I'm not real smart. I guess I had a messed up knot back there or something, right?
Sure.
Even though I'd use a loop-to-loop, which should be pretty strong. But anyway, something went wrong, and man, I saw a leader, fly line, everything was just gone. I don't know what that even was. It just
knots that are 100 feet away from your terminal tackle. We just tend to not really worry about them. There's like so much stretch and all the line and everything else,
How often do you see that knot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it didn't end well, but yeah,
It's been there since 1971.
You know me better than that. I'm a bit of so when it's too hot to fish, I tinker.
Yeah.
So it's always pretty fresh stuff.
I think what he's saying, Justin, is, and we might have to cut this out depending on Texas laws, but I think what he's saying is that he builds flathead houses in the summer.
When he's not fishing, he builds flathead
houses.
houses.
What I do is I go to Home Depot and I buy dog houses. And I just sink them. Actually, I guarantee you, if you did that, flathead
he'd get a flathead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
Be like a 5-star hotel to a flathead.
Yeah, this one I hooked up there was it was kind of awesome. He went, and he was not stopping for anything. I mean, burn your hand all you want on that reel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's not slowing down. It was kind of cool.
Was it fast?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, it was faster than a largemouth. It was faster than a buffalo.
It was just a steady pull,
or a black drum, but it wasn't as fast as a redfish or a carp.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't as fast as a blue catfish.
Blues
are more
well
open
too.
water fish. It just went.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. It was kind of cool. It was a tiny little fly though too. Is a funny part.
Well, it's sometimes those big fish are happy to take tiny little baits. Circumstances present themselves. Hey, a little snack.
Well, they're not going to ignore. They're not going to say no.
Right. Like one of the, as you have well heard, one of the, and I didn't land at this fish, but probably the largest blue cat I've ever seen was attached to my line out at that tail race you mentioned earlier. And I had been fishing during the species contest with a 1/32 ounce Roadrunner because I was trying to catch as many little species on it as possible. No, it was the Roadrunner contest.
Okay.
Because we had a contest where we could only fish with Roadrunners, and the goal was catch as many species as possible on the same lure across the board for everyone fishing.
Sure.
So I was using a 1/32 ounce, and I hooked what was probably a 40-pound blue and on a 1/32 ounce Roadrunner, and I fought him for 20 minutes, and some guy came over offering to help me net him. And I was like, no, it's all right, man. I got it. And I had worn this fish out, and the guy put his net in the water and swiped at the fish and knocked the Roadrunner loose, and it swam off.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
That'll happen. That'll happen when you swipe at fish.
Yeah, It does.
I was trying to tell him not to do it, and he was wholly ignoring me.
I had an epic fishing trip. This is many years ago, but I had an epic fishing trip where I went to Mexico to fish for flats fishing, fly fishing, bonefish and tarpon and permit, all this stuff. And I hooked into one of the bigger tarpon that we saw on the trip, and these were not big tarpon. These were not the big, 100-pound migratory tarpon that float through Florida or like the real big ones in Costa Rica. These are like, 20 to 40 pounders.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this fish and, I got a great eat and it went through 8 jumps and got it all the way up to the boat. I had the fly line in my hand, and then the guide who was a guide down there and had been fishing for many years, something went wrong in his head. And he attempted to net this tarpon from the tail.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, which of course made it immediately go whatever direction we were pointing then. I don't know if it's north or south or east.
Right.
And it took one more jump and that was it. It threw the hook.
Weird.
It didn't matter. We got to see it. I mean, it was right up next to the boat and it was the fun fight.
That's what tarpon fishing is. I mean, if you wanted to jump in the water with it and get a picture, that's the only thing left at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, so I guess that covers the flathead catfish.
Well,
oh man, that's
Wait, we were talking about flatheads?
Apologies, dear listener.
Well,
I mean, if they've been listening this long, they don't really expect us to stay on topic anymore.
It's how it's supposed to work anyway. Getting off topic is, I don't know how it happens, but it's the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of flatheads, over the next few weeks, send in your flathead catfish photos and stories to FOTM at ifitswims.com. Pictures may make the webpage, and stories could be shared here. Hey, before we head out, anything else from you guys?
If any of you have pictures of stripers in traffic cones, please send those in too.
Definitely. Now, he's saying that, but
do not break any laws.
yes. If you own said striper and you own said cone, go
exactly.
ahead.
Well, I think that we should have a fish and traffic cones contest. Now, the fish would have to be legally obtained, and, it's probably not going to survive, so it's going to have to be a legal size.
Right. Oh, man.
We'll become the traffic cone, bandits. I don't know.
Traffic cone bandit.
I mean, we could have a competition to, transport your legally caught fish in the funniest possible vessel.
Now, Dave, for you, that's your pocket.
Well, that's true.
Oh, I came across that picture a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I see it. Every once in a while through the old Faceagram memories
I think I've asked
feature.
you before, how much did it suck pulling that fish out of your pocket?
Oh, that's what was terrible about it. We ended up releasing the fish.
Yeah.
It was a small fish,
Oh, yeah.
and it took 4 hands to get it out of my pocket. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they're nice and smooth in one direction, kind of pokey.
Yeah.
Kind of pokey the other, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh man, let's get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us this month. As far as subscribing and rating, of course, that's a thing. But even more important, telling someone else about this podcast if you even think about enjoying it. Believe me, it would help. We are on the web at ifitswims.com and on Instagram at if_it_swims. All links to find us are available in the show notes, along with items covered this month, including fish and traffic cones. Our music was written for us by Dallas artist Jeff Hewitt. Join us again next month, and as always, we will see you out there.